Hi guys, welcome to day 22 of our 30 days wild. We are nearly at the end, but that does not mean that you guys have to stop, okay? It means keep going. If you've had fun doing the 30 days challenge with me this month, do it for the year, or do it every other month, or get the kids involved, do something really fun, or just do that kind little thing for nature once a week. Help out our local habitats, okay? So today we are going to be looking at lizards in the UK, and these guys are really weird and really cool, and I really like them. Okay, so we have 3 different species of lizards in the UK, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things about each one of them. So the first one we are looking at is the sand lizard. Now, I touched on the sand lizard when we spoke about our snakes. So these guys are mainly down south, living in small little areas of habitat in sandy heathland. So they have a specific habitat that they thrive in, okay? However, North Merseyside have created a habitat for these guys, which is really impressive, and they have done a release program and released sand lizards into a protected area in North Merseyside. So there's a bunch of volunteers working to make this habitat perfect for our sand lizards, which is really interesting because they normally thrive better down south because of the heat. But the volunteers have made perfect hotspots and stuff like that so that the lizards can stay nice and warm and thrive and survive, which is really, really interesting. They are just really, really rare, but they have a very long lifespan. These guys can live till they're at least 20 years old. So we want to help them thrive and survive. Obviously, it's really fun and it's interesting to do. So the best time to go out and find these guys is April to October. I should warn you, you cannot catch any of the lizards in the UK. They are all protected, so please do not go handling them unless you are taking them to a wildlife hospital. Okay, so April to October, if it's sunny and stuff like that, go have a walk around and you would be able to see them basking. Keep your distance because they are so small and they are predated on by so many things. They feel threatened, so if you get a little bit too close, they will scatter off. They are strictly protected, okay? So they can't do anything, they're strictly protected, and this is just because they are so rare, so it is illegal to disturb them and stuff like that as well. They are as rare as our smooth snake in the UK. So these guys have a big release program going ahead through Arc Trust at the moment. So in Hampshire, down south, they released 240 individuals over the past 5 years to help them thrive, and they seem to be doing really well. They have evidence of females breeding, they have number control, so they're surveying them every year to make sure that they are thriving and surviving, which is really good. And also they have to monitor the amount of predators that them guys have, so the smooth snake is a big predator to them. So they're monitoring it and protecting it so that these guys can actually thrive, which is really, really interesting. A second lizard that we have in the UK is the common lizard. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'm sure you've also seen one as well. If you go to Dane Moss Nature Reserve in Macclesfield, they have loads of lizards there. I have seen loads. It's really fun to do. They are also protected, so you cannot harm them, disturb them, or pick them up, but you can go and photograph them. They are really incredible and they're so colourful, and to be fair, they're not that skittish. It's a boardwalk and they sit on the board basking in the sun, and you can get like a metre to them, and they don't scurry away until you make a bang, and then they run off. So don't bang. It's my advice. But yeah, these guys are incredible. They only live for 5 to 6 years in the UK, unfortunately, so very short lifespan, but they occupy a lot of habitat. So they live in heathlands, moorlands, woodlands and grasslands, so you can find them distributed all across the UK. They are incredible animals. Now these guys are even better than most lizards because they incubate their eggs inside their body. So when they have babies, they give birth to live babies. And this is really good because it means that their eggs aren't threatened by predators and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. And their main defense mechanism is what they do is if a predator comes along, they can make their tail drop off and wiggle while they run away to distract the predator, and then they can grow it back, which is really, really cool. It's a pretty good defense mechanism. So if you ever see a lizard that without its tail, don't worry, it is probably normal. Okay, it probably felt threatened by a predator, dropped its tail and ran away. so don't worry too much about that. They are insanely cool. So the best time to go out and find these guys is March to October. It's the same with all our lizards, to be quite honest. When the sun's shining, you're gonna find them. If it's cold and miserable and cloudy like it is today, less chance of seeing them, but there is something you can do to help spot them, which we will talk about in a minute. And the last lizard you can find in the UK is the slow worm. Okay, now I know it's called a slow worm, but it's not a worm because it has a spine. Okay, has an skeleton inside its body. It is a legless lizard, so it has no legs, and it is not a snake either because one, because of its diet. Snakes are carnivores, they eat meat, mice and stuff like that. These guys are insectivores, so they eat all the insects. But there's two other things that make you that show you that they are a lizard and not a snake. The first one is that they blink. Okay, snakes do not have eyelids, so they do not blink. So the legless lizard can blink, and also they can drop their tail just like our common lizard can if there is a predator around. So, really cool animal, no legs, but it is a lizard. So these guys, they kind of look a little bit like our smooth snake, but these guys are distributed all across the UK as well. A lot of people have been seeing them a lot lately, which is really interesting, and there's a few things you can help them thrive in your garden. These guys are thriving mainly because they inhabit a lot of areas as well, so you can find them in heathlands, grasslands, woodlands, allotments, okay? Because people have compost heaps and stuff like that, they encourage bugs to their garden, and legless lizards love bugs. So if you want to try and encourage them to your garden, set up a compost heap. It's really cool and fun, and you can get your kids involved as well. And just like our common lizard, these guys incubate their eggs inside their body as well. So they give birth to live baby slow worms, which are really adorable. Now, like I said, all three species are protected and there is lots of threats out there for them. The two biggest ones is habitat loss, unfortunately, and climate change because of temperature control and stuff like that. We get snow in February instead of sunshine and stuff like that, so climate change is a big issue here. And predation. Lizards are mainly caught by cats, believe it or not. They're pretty quick and cats like to chase things, as we all know. So cats are a huge predator. Other predators are badgers, birds of prey, grass snakes predate on half of our lizards, including our slow worm. Foxes eat them, dogs eat them, so they have a lot of predators, so they have to be really cautious about when they come out, and that's why they're so skittish. So if you get a bit too close, that is why they run away, because they are naturally a prey species. Now, one of the big things you guys can do to help, believe it or not, is when the sun is shining, if you've got any of their metal sheets, put it on the ground so the sun attracts heat. After a few hours, lift it up and see whether there is anything underneath the sheet. Okay? Make a compost heap, that'll encourage them to your garden. Use the Frog Life app that I've told you about to record any sightings that you might see of our scaly friends. You'll be helping record our lizards and stuff like that, which is really interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our lizards, unfortunately. There's not really much we can do other than help them thrive and survive by encouraging bugs to our garden and putting down their metal sheets so that they have a nice warm basking spot. So guys, thank you very much for listening about our UK lizards, and I will see you tomorrow for our next animal. These guys are reintroduced. They were originally extinct 100 years ago, so it'll be really fun to find out how they're doing. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!